Hello my dear students, how are you? I hope you are doing well. So again we are here with a new science chapter, water, a precious resource. So are you guys ready with this chapter? So let us start with this chapter, a very interesting because jal hai to kal hai. So let us start with this chapter. So initially, first we are going to discuss what we are going to study in this chapter. So let us see. So here in this chapter, we'll talk about first the introduction part, then we'll talk about how much water is available on earth or inland area. Then we'll talk about various forms of water, groundwater as an important source of water. We'll discuss about the depletion of water table, how the water has been distributed along different regions of earth. Then we'll talk about its management, what role we can play in managing the water or in storing the water or in saving the water. And finally, we'll talk about the effect of water scarcity on plants. So let us start with this chapter. So here we'll talk about the introduction. We know that jal hai to kal hai. That means if there is water, we can talk about, we can think about the future. We can think about our future because if there is no water, we cannot survive. So water is one of the essential part of our life. We cannot live without water. So let us start with this World Water Day, which has been celebrated or organized on 22nd of March. When we talk about this day, why this day has been celebrated? So the thing is, it is used to attract the attention of everybody towards the importance of conserving water. That means how we can conserve water so that we can use this water for our future purpose also. That's why this World Water Day has been celebrated. Remember, it is on 22nd March. Now we'll talk about this running water is actually the way to waste water, and we should not do this. Running water and advising not to waste water is our goal. We are supposed to conserve water in any means. So when we talk about the United Nations, they have recommended that per person per day, the minimum amount of water is around 50 liters, and where this water has been consumed, it has been consumed in drinking, washing, cooking and maintaining proper hygiene for a single person. So that consumption is 50 liters per person per day. That is a very large amount, and in India it is not easy for everyone to get this 50 liters per person per day. So we need to conserve this water, and that is an important thing. When we talk about the water in our rural areas, we can see there is a long queue of water. You can see in TV, in newspaper or in rural areas, you can see this is the common image or picture around that neighbors. Generally, the newspaper clippings also says that there is a scarcity of water and we always need to conserve the water. Otherwise, without water, even agriculture will also suffer. And again, I'm saying there is no future without water. Drought. That is a very, very important thing. One of the natural calamity we can say when there is no water. So we need to conserve water. Every point, every image, every clipping says that this water is very precious. Here you can see the small clipping of water that says that how to conserve water where it is necessary. In small countries where there is a small amount of water, the availability of water is very less. We have to conserve water for our next generation. Now we'll talk about how much water is available. So here, if I'm saying this word, it means that how much water is available for actually our drinking purpose, for our domestic purpose. That means we can say, yes, all this blue portion on this globe, you can see is nothing but water. But can we drink all this water? Can we consume all this water for our normal use? Let us see how. Let us discuss about this. So here you can see the image and the clipping. You can see. When we talk about the availability of water, we can find the water in seas, we can find water in oceans, we can find groundwater also available to us. About 71% of Earth's surface is covered with water. That means this is the amount of water. Rest amount is covered either with the greenery or with the land. So It is a good number, good percentage. 71% of Earth's surface is covered with water. But is this water potable? Is this water good for drinking? Let us discuss. So let us discuss by looking at this image. Take a medium sized bucket and fill it with water. And it contains about 20 liters of water. You can assume, you can imagine that there is a bucket that is around 20 liters, you fill it. And we assume that this bucket full of water is actually the water that represents total 71% of water on the Earth's surface. That means this is that water which is present, which is available on the Earth's surface. Now take a teaspoonful of about 5 ml capacity and transfer 100 spoons of water from bucket to small container like this mug. So you have collected around 100 spoons, that means around 100 spoons of water in this mug. And this says that it is the availability of water which is only the fresh water. That means out of that complete bucket of water which is of 20 liter capacity, only 100 spoons full of water is the fresh water availability. Now from this bath mug, transfer 30 spoons of water to a glass tumbler. Take in a glass, only 30 spoons. So from those 100 spoons of water, you just transfer only 30 spoons of water, which gives you the measurement of usable water as groundwater. So groundwater is availability is only this 30 spoons of water as compared to that 20 liter of water. And finally, we can say that take out 1/4 spoon, only 1/4 spoonful of water from this mug, and that is the water present in all the lakes and rivers of the world. And this amount is roughly only 0.006% of all water present on the earth. So now you can imagine how very small, how much small amount of water is available in terms of fresh water is available to us for our purpose. And that's why the conservation of water is very important. Now we'll talk about various forms of water. So when we talk about various forms of water, we just go through this water cycle. We know that we have the water bodies that undergo evaporation due to sunlight, due to heat radiations, and this water vapor, when it goes into the atmosphere, when it reaches higher, temperature decreases and thus condensation takes place. On condensation, again it changes into water droplets and it comes down on earth in the form of rain. So here comes the total evaporation of water, and here you can see the formation of water in the form of water, in the form of vapors, even when there is a snowfall in the form of solid ice also. So here we are going to discuss different forms of water. So when water circulates through the water cycle, as I have explained you just now, it can be present in all the three forms. It may be present in solid form, in the form of snow, in the form of hails, in the form of snowfall. It can be present in liquid, in the form of liquid water normally. It can be present in the form of gas, in the form of water vapors, when it is in the clouds, when it is in the atmosphere. So here you can see certain examples of solid forms of water like snow. Here you can see mountains and glaciers are also solid form of water. Then when we talk about liquid form of water, it is available in the form of liquid water as oceans, lakes and underground water. They all are present in liquid form. When we talk about gaseous form of water, it is nothing but the water vapor. So the continuous cycling of water, that means I am talking about the water cycle passing from water bodies to atmosphere and again coming back in the form of water droplets or snowfall. This continuous cycling of water among its three forms keeps the total amount of water on the earth constant. That means whatever be the amount of water has been evaporated, it comes down in the same amount. So in all, we can say the total amount of water remains constant. So the water which is supplied through network of pipes and then it reaches to our home. So when we talk about the people fetch water directly from the source, it has been possible because of these water pipes through which the water has come, and thus we can fetch water directly from the water resources, either from the tap or from the tanks. Now when we talk about groundwater, as I've told you, that is one of the major source of water and it is available to us. Groundwater, which is an important source of water. So here you can see an image in which kid is continuously digging soil for planting and found out that moist in soil after 2 layers of soil. So he has to remove 2 layers of soil, then he can find that there is some moist soil present. It means that below 2 layers of the soil, he can find some moisture in the soil. The space between particles of soil and gaps between rocks are filled with water. We know that when we go below the sea soil, we have different horizons, horizon A, B and C. So we can see as we go down, we can find the gaps between rocks, gaps between soil particles. They are filled with water, and that is nothing but the groundwater. The upper level of this layer is called water table. That means the above level, the first layer of this water, we call it as water table, and it varies from place to place. That means somewhere you can find it a little bit higher and somewhere you can find at a lower side. The water found below the water table, we call this water as groundwater. That we can directly collect this groundwater through hand pumps or through wells. The rainwater and water from rivers and ponds, it seeps through the soil. That means what will happen when this rain comes down? It passes, it goes onto the soil, and the soil seeps this water into it. That means whatever be the water has come through rainfall, it seeps into the soil and fill those empty spaces where there is a crack, where there is a space between rocks, between soil particles. The water seeps down, and this process is known as infiltration. This process is known as infiltration. So infiltration is nothing but the seeping of water into the gaps or the cracks of soil particles or the rocks. Then the groundwater is stored between layers of hard rock. So we are having different layers of hard rock, and groundwater actually is stored between those rocks. So when we goes below deep into the earth, we can find that this groundwater is available, and we can collect this groundwater by using tube wells, by using hand pump. So basically the groundwater which is stored between layers, we call it as aquifer. And the water in the aquifers can be usually pumped out either with the help of tube wells or with the help of hand pumps. You must have seen these hand pumps in rural areas, or in these tube wells also in rural areas, which is very much used for agriculture practices. So basically it is nothing but the underground water that is available for the farmers, that is available in rural areas.